But when we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, he's one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the game right now. Last week we saw a scare. He was carted off the field with a knee/ankle injury. It's still kind of up in the air exactly what the injury was. But he came back into the game. Now, when he left the game, the Packers were down 20-3. I'm going to say that one more time. When he left the game, the Packers were down 20-3. And as it currently stands, the Packers are 1-0, and the Chicago Bears are 0-1.
Because he's a bad man.
Now, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers have a big matchup later this week on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. We'll all do our pick'ems on that. But I want to talk, and we'll start off with Jeff. Bobby, we'll bring you in one moment. Aaron Rodgers, is he worth the money? And will we see him this Sunday?
Let me say this, because I'm going to disagree with a whole lot of y'all with Aaron Rodgers. That dude might be one of the most overrated cats left in the NFL. When you look at it, since that Super Bowl win in January of 2011 for the 2010 season, that dude has missed 18 games. You know what that tells me? His body is breaking down. He didn't get hurt the other night. He had to go take a crap.
So let me ask you.
Instead of leaving the sidelines, he had to get. I mean, that was ridiculous. Like, you don't go get carted off and then run back on like you that dude from the Knicks in the 70s.
Do you think it's too much on his shoulders right now? Is too much of the offense based around Aaron Rodgers and what he can do?
Well, but it's football, so it should be based around your quarterback's strengths. Look, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. We got to keep in mind this was a Bears defense that was one of the worst in the NFL last year. Just because you add Khalil Mack into that doesn't all of a sudden make you a better defense.
They have some great pieces there.
They've got a terrible quarterback.
Not a Mr. Trubisky fan.
Ooh, my boy Deshaun Watson should have gone long before Mitch ever did. Ever.
I second that.
I second that. Dude is
that.
completely overrated. That defense is overrated. You say top 5 defense, I say bottom 5 defense.
They made it
to 5 wins.
Woo,
that's how bad that team is.
Craig, talk to me now. We know you're a Falcons fan. You're here in Atlanta, so you've seen Aaron Rodgers come here and torch the Falcons year after year after year. Talk to me. I mean, because we got to get his expertise on how he sees it. Same as you, Bobby. We're gonna bring you in because you've seen Aaron Rodgers doing some things. What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? Was he worth the money, and will we see him on Sunday?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Aaron Rodgers really might be. I'm totally opposite of what you were saying.
That's fine.
Aaron Rodgers might be one of the most gifted quarterbacks I've ever seen. I do agree with you though on the missed games and the injuries. The man's collarbones have got to be made of what, aluminum foil?
You got to be.
So I'm gonna ask you the same thing I asked Jeff. With no running game, and when you know coming into the game that 93% of the offense is going to be based on you, doesn't that present wear and tear on your body in the NFL?
Absolutely, that's a problem. He's a part of the running game and the passing game. They haven't had a running game since 2009 maybe.
Didn't they just have they had 1,000-yard rusher 2 years ago? They had 1,000-yard rusher 2 years ago.
Who ate his way out the league? I'm sorry.
He did. He did. You don't have to do that.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Speaking of Eddie Lacy.
But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, he makes that offense go. He literally can take any wide receiver, in my opinion, and get them at least 800, 900 yards a season. The man's a problem. He extends plays. That might be his issue. He extends a lot of plays out of the pocket. He gets hit a lot out of the pocket. His body takes a lot of wear and tear. This Sunday, if I was him, if I had a real injury, I'd probably stay out of this one. Your offensive line is, and you're going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Anthony Barr, Sheldon Richardson now coming out of the middle. I might want to sit this one out and take the long view on this.
Bobby B. By the way, real quick, what's Aaron Rodgers' what's his record the last 3 times he's played in Atlanta? 0 for 3.
0 for 3. And he got blown out one.
There you go. Twice in the NFC Championship game, too.
Bobby V, what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? Is he worth the money and should he play this week?
He's definitely worth the money. When I think about quarterbacks, I think Tom Brady, then I think Aaron Rodgers. They're definitely the top 2 quarterbacks. He's worth the money. If you pay Matt Ryan $120 million, I'm definitely gonna cut.
You're a smart man. You're a smart man.
See, with Aaron Rodgers, it's a certain dog that he has there. I disagree with him. You guys talking about he had to go take a boo-boo. Well, maybe he did have to take a boo-boo. But when you come back and you down by 20 points or whatever the score is, and you lead your team to a victory, that's the kind of quarterback I'll take over anybody. So I'm definitely gonna cut the check for Aaron Rodgers.
Will we see him Sunday? If you were Mike McCarthy, would you put Aaron Rodgers on the field against that devastating Vikings defense?
It depends on his injury. I don't know how hurt he really is. But if he's really hurt or if he's kind of doubtful, I wouldn't put him in. But if he's all the way if he's about 90%, I'd play him. Otherwise, I would sit him. It's too early in the season to risk him.
Brandon, talk to us. Jump in the conversation. Let us know. Aaron Rodgers worth the money?
Yeah.
Is he hitting the field on Sunday?
He's worth the money. But hitting the field, I'll go the route with, you know what I'm saying. I got to look the long view. It's only week 2, so you don't want to go out there and risk any more injury. I mean, sustain any more injury, I guess, for your legs. But you're definitely worth the money because if you got to pay, like you said, you got to pay Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Flacco, you know, those kind of guys. You definitely got to pay Aaron Rodgers that kind of money. So, you know, hey, man, we ain't going to talk about Joe Flacco right now, okay? But, you know, so he's definitely worth the money. But if it's any lingering around the injury, I won't play this weekend, me personally.
Sticking to quarterbacks, we're going to stick with quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, last weekend, the Buffalo Bills put out a horrible outing. It was a horrible outing. I know they're putting a lot of stock in Nate Peterman. Me personally, I think they still made the wrong move by letting Tyrod Taylor go, but that's long gone now. It's a new journey, new day, new chapter as far as the Buffalo Bills are concerned. This upcoming week, as far as week 2, Josh Allen will get the start. Rookie quarterback out of Wyoming. Mel Kiper was talking a lot of hype about him during the draft. Oh, this kid has a big arm. He's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. Kelvin Benjamin is also over in Buffalo. We seen what happened in the offseason with him and Cam Newton and their kind of social media beefs.
Trash.
Is Josh Allen ready? And with the Buffalo Bills, who were mollywopped last weekend by the Baltimore Ravens, who are looking kind of shitty right now.
Hey, it's 2014. 2014, chill. 2014.
On Thursday Night Football. Bobby, we're going to start with you this go-around. Josh Allen, was he worth the draft pick? And what type of numbers do you think he'll put up this week?
So this is not the guy that played last week, right? This is the other guy.
Yeah, this is the rookie. Not Peterman. This is the rookie.
Vegas?
The Vegas Raiders.
Soon to be Vegas Raiders. In the first half against the Los Angeles Rams last Monday night, they looked pretty damn good. Jared Cook looked like the second coming of Gronkowski. Derek Carr was out there looking like Rich Gannon back in the day. Second half, it seemed like the Los Angeles Rams kind of settled in. They settled down, came back to reality, as you say, and they put a mollywhopping on the Raiders. They outscored them 20-3 in the second half on route to a victory.
Can't get a pass rush.
Now, it's been highly noted, as many of us know, Jon Gruden is back with Oakland, 10 years, $100 million deal. If he coaches the entire 10-year deal, he will, as we just mentioned, lead them into Las Vegas. That'll be coming up very soon. But he started off his coaching tenure on a bad note to many NFL experts, trading possibly the best player, if not number 1A, the best player in the NFL on defense, and Khalil Mack too, who we mentioned earlier, the Chicago Bears. So now we know Gruden's he feels that 2 first-round picks, he can kind of put the team together that he wants to put together as they move into Vegas. He's not looking to win now, win instantly. The Raiders have looked pretty well over the last few years, though. They have looked like they were on the up and up in the last few years. Now, I don't know what the direction is. Jeff, this go-around, we'll start with you.
This going to be fun.
Jon Gruden, will his coaching style fit with the NFL is today? Will it fit the NFL of today? And in the long run, will we feel like the trade of Khalil Mack was detrimental to his whole tenure as a coach here with the Raiders?
So I'll start this off by asking you, what has Jon Gruden ever built?
I don't think I agree. I don't think it's
task. You're asking him to go build the Raiders, and the first thing he does is get rid of a dude who in his first 3 years is already an NFL Defensive Player of the Year, is already on track to be a Hall of Famer, and you say, I can get 2 first-round picks.
Pro Bowl in 2 different positions.
Correct.
36.
Right, and here's the problem. You can take those 2 first-round picks. Chances are that they are on the same track that Khalil Mack was, slim to none. There's a better chance I drop 80 pounds a night than you spend a first-round pick to go get the next Khalil Mack. And on top of that, you gave up a second-round pick as part of that. Like, it's not like you got 2 first-round picks you got to keep. You got rid of a second-round pick, which should be a starter for you.
Yep.
So you got rid of 2 starters to go get 2 first-round picks. And let's look at the history of his first round picks. Do we want to talk about that? Because there's a reason after he won that Super Bowl in Tampa, they didn't make the playoffs again.
But wait a minute now. Let's talk about that Super Bowl in Tampa. I want to give you some credit. You said what has he built? It was the old saying, if you're a cook, you want to be able to put the ingredients in the cabinet.
You want your own damn menu.
He was cooking off of Tony Dungy's menu, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen. So
and even with Oakland too, that was
he had one of those pre-cooked meals.
Who? Bill Callahan.
Yeah.
That was his team.
Yeah.
That was his team, the Oakland team. So
What,
Jerry Rice, Rich Gannon,
Troy Brown. 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, 3 Hall of Famers right there. Yeah, he definitely built off a
So would a trade be detrimental?
The trade is going to set the Raiders back another 5 years minimum.
I agree.
Minimum. If they don't get somebody, look at all the first and second round busts we see year after year after year. They have to pray to whatever God it is, Allah, God, Jesus, Bill Smith, whoever you pray to, you better pray that you don't get a bust or two. Because you hit a home run with Khalil Mack. Let's remember when Khalil Mack was coming out of
Buffalo.
It was Buffalo. There were half the teams in the NFL were like, we're not touching this dude because he didn't play big time football. The Raiders said, no, he was the fastest defensive lineman, so we got to take him, and it worked out for them. And then you let this.
And we see his impact already in one game, and
it's better than the guy that he was drafted
in Chicago.
behind.
Now can Gruden coach?
Clown?
The people that I've talked to think that Gruden can still coach because it's not like he was out of the game. It's not like he was away from the game for 10 years. But being in the booth and being on the field are two different things. You look at the way football is going, and you look at the successful coaches in the NFL right now. It's the young dudes. It's those dudes that know how to relate to the players coming in. It's those dudes like McVay who know Jared Goff's biggest strength is the RPO. It is how to block that, how to scheme that up. Jon Gruden couldn't even scheme when he was a damn assistant coach. And you're asking him to come into an NFL now that is changing.
He's old school.
And he's too old.
He's old school.
Bobby V, talk to me. Jon Gruden, Raiders, soon to be Vegas Raiders. Will we see a Super Bowl in this Gruden era with the Oakland Raiders? And did he make a mistake by trading Khalil Mack?
Definitely made a mistake trading him. I think that he's been out the coaching era so long that I think it's a little too late for him to kind of come back to coaching. So I'm not sure he'll be able to turn it around. I actually like the Raiders' last coach, Jack Del Rio, right?
Yeah.
I think he was a better fit. I think he actually had some things going for the Raiders. It's just that Derek Carr got hurt. So I think he's Jon Gruden is overrated. But that's what happens sometimes. So I'm not really rolling with Gruden like that. I would have kept Del Rio in there at least a couple more years to see where he could perform with him.
Brandon, talk to me. What are your thoughts on Gruden? Super Bowl, will we see it? Was it a mistake by letting Khalil Mack go?
Yeah. I mean, you let like he just said, he's one of the best, not the best defensive player in the league. So you got rid of him for 2 first-round picks who may or may not pan out. And knowing Jon Gruden's track record, he'll probably go offensive. So he doesn't really care about defense. We all know that. So I mean, I don't think they should have went and signed him for that long term anyway for a 10-year, $100 million contract. People in the league can't get that $100 million contract. He's coaching. So now you got rid of that, and then you had Jack Del Rio. I mean, they 1 year removed from the playoffs. Who knows if Derek Carr don't get hurt that year, they may make the Super Bowl.
They were leading the damn division.
Exactly, leading the division. He got hurt by a broken leg, and then it went down the toilet. So you were just 1 year removed from it. But I wouldn't have given that long term for a 10-year, $100 million contract. Now, if you did something smaller, like maybe 3 to 4, possibly, you could probably read up then. But you got rid of Khalil Mack for what? You need investment now because this is NFL. We all know it's win now league. What can you do for me now? Not for what can you do for me 6 years.
When we get to Vegas.
Yeah, when we get to Vegas in 4 years, 4 or 5 years down the line. No, we need now because after a while, dudes ain't gonna do but get older. Derek Carr get older. Amari Cooper get older, and then you're gonna need some young blood in there. So I want to give him that long-term deal, and I don't see no Super Bowl in the near future, next decade. Nah, ain't not for the Raiders. Nah.
Craig, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Jon Gruden is vastly overrated. With him, he hasn't built anything in his career. What I want to understand is everybody was asking Jon Gruden, should he go back into coaching? Should he go back into coaching? What's the difference between Jon Gruden and Herm Edwards? Because he was vilified for going back into coaching. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to understand that. He pretty much closed the window, in my opinion, on the Raiders' Super Bowl chances. You trade the only person who had a pulse on your defense, and then your offense, your quarterback. You're talking about him to the press after the games. Your offensive line is they
trash.
were good. That's why you were good 2 years ago under Jack Del Rio, and you probably would have won the Super Bowl that year. But now they're old. You haven't made any new additions. Jon Gruden, you let one of the best punters go in Marquette King.
And he hates him.
Oh, absolutely.
He hates him now.
Absolutely. Hey, he should. He had no reason. I think he wanted to just make him a scapegoat. And then, like I said, you get rid of him. You get rid of Khalil Mack. You want to be the show.
But here's the most chicken shit thing out of all of this is you trade Khalil Mack, and then you come out and say, well, he didn't want to be here because he didn't blow my phone up every day. You know who blows your phone up every day? A psycho ex that wants to get back with you.
What do you want? A defensive
Right.
player or a friend?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
He was already there. You coming here.
Exactly.
Right.
You blow him up.
I didn't understand him coming out saying, well, he didn't want to be here because he wasn't calling, he wasn't coming by. No shit,
he said
he wanted a new contract.
they never really even spoke and whatnot.
All you had to do was give him a new
He's
contract.
a 26-year-old kid. He wants his money.
Right, you offered him like $10 million a year. Come on, man.
If you make one phone call, maybe have a sit down, go to dinner, whatever. Khalil Mack is in uniform. He's at training camp, OTAs, all that.
Yeah.
But see, Jon Gruden, to kind of what you're saying, Jon Gruden comes in. He's from the old school.
He's too old.
I'm
school.
Jon Gruden.
I'm Jon Gruden.
So
I got this
you should bow
mystique.
to me.
He's the show. He
bro,
wants to be the show.
He, like you say, he has a build. Another thing, but he jumped on the bandwagon with Monday Night Football crew.
Mm-hmm.
So he ain't build that.
So I'm gonna ask you, gentlemen, this, and I just want a simple yes or no. Bobby, I'm gonna start with you. Simple yes or no. Is Derek Carr the quarterback that the Raiders need?
Derek Carr, I just think he needs to have the right offense behind him. So I would say yeah.
Jeff, no. Craig,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm still up in there. I'm 50-50. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the NFL. And Lou, I want you to join in this portion as well. I'm going to just put your portion down since you're behind the scenes right now. I'm going with the Panthers in this one. I'm going with the Panthers in this game right here. And I'm going with the Panthers on a score of 27-24.
Can't be a
I'm going with the Panthers in 27-24. I'm going to start with the two Falcons fans, Craig, then Bobby. I'm going to bring you in a moment. Give me your score of the game, and let me just give me some of your thoughts on the game.
Just because I think Sark has probably heard all the criticism, I think he might have taken a drink. But I think the Falcons take this one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with 24-17.
24-17.
Bobby, talk to me. Falcons, Panthers. Who you got winning?
The Falcons win this because first of all, to me, Cam Newton has no weapons. His number one receiver, Greg Olsen, he's out, I guess, for the season. I don't know any other receivers he has right now, so I feel like the Falcons will win 21-17.
21-17. Jeff, how you feeling?
All right, man. So let me ask y'all this question: What was Matt Ryan's QBR last week that he looked terrible? 57.9. Right. You know what Cam Newton's average QBR when he plays since the Falcons is?
57.9.
It's less. It's between 59 and 61.
Yeah. Oh, so
60 is actually what it is. So you're gonna tell me that a dude that plays that bad coming into this town, 38. I'm gonna say 38-17 Falcons. I expect a big week.
Lou, talk to me. How you feeling?
No Luke Kinkley.
Oh, he ain't playing?
27-20.
Falcons? We got Lou going with the Falcons as well.
Luke ain't
going
playing?
with the Falcons. You said 27-20? 27-20. Brandon, we're going to finish off with you right here.
So I'm going to be, on the opposite side because I hate the Falcons that much. So, yeah, I'm going Panthers because no Keanu O'Neal, no Debo Jones. Run defense might be a little scarce. Chris McCaffrey might get a little loose a little bit. So I'll go Panthers 35-24.
35-24.
Cam Newton will come back and have revenge.
Another 1 o'clock game will be those Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles heading to Tampa Bay.
Never heard of her.
We need the season in right now.
To take on the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now this will be week 2. of the suspension for Jameis Winston, so he won't be in action. However,
Good for Tampa Bay.
Ryan Fitzmagic, as they're calling him right now, Ryan
Lord,
Fitzpatrick.
he about to come back to
He does
reality.
this every year.
Ryan
He has like one
Fitzmagic,
game.
as they're calling him. He looked pretty good last week against the New Orleans Saints defense, who I personally think is overrated. A lot of people were
It is
saying they
week
would be
one,
a
it is
top
week
five. I think they're going to be extremely overrated. I think last year was more of a fluke than a permanent situation. Jeff, for this one, we'll start off with you since I know you're such a big Eagles fan.
Look, man, it took Ryan Fitzpatrick 15 years to have a career day. You know what I mean? Like, and he gonna replicate that against one of the best front sevens in football. Eagles win this one, unfortunately. And I'm gonna go 45-17.
That's what I'm talking about.
45-17. Lou, how you feeling over
I'm
there?
feeling the same way.
Philly in the building?
Philly in the building. I think Philly is going to be like 35-17.
35-17 for Groovy Lou. B, how you feeling?
I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is trash, but we know he. I mean, you know, say come back down to reality. You know, saying I think he went down to New Orleans, got some gumbo. You know, saying got a little southern cooking. But I'm going Philly, unfortunately. 34-20.
Bobby, Eagles, Bucks. Who you got?
Man, Fitzpatrick, he got some weapons to throw to.
I just need to get Mike Evans on the
If
point
they play
fast.
like they did last week, he'll put up at least 31 points. Philly puts up 12.
Okay.
There's some good hands.
A lot of field
You
goals.
enjoying yourself over there.
Field goals.
Me personally, I think this is going to be a Nick Foles coming out party. Do you gentlemen know who Nick Foles got his first victory in the NFL against?
The Bucks.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I
Only
think
you would know that.
That would have been a really shitty question. It had been like the Falcons or something. Instead of playing the Bucks.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think history will repeat itself. I think Nick Foles, Doug Peterson's going to open up the playbook a little bit more. Now, I talk a lot of trash about the Falcons, but the Falcons are a pretty good team. I think Peterson also knew that. They knew that there wasn't much more, being as though we played the Falcons in the playoffs a few games ago. There wasn't much more that we could really pull a rabbit out of our hat for. But I think against Tampa Bay, a very young team, as you mentioned, I think our defense are going to score 2 touchdowns in itself, or at least have 2 turnovers where the offense will be able to convert already in the red zone. So I'm going with the Eagles as well with a score of about 34-17. I'm going to go with the Eagles 34-17.
We know that.
And last but not
You
least,
going with the Eagles not losing the game this season?
no, we might go something like 14-2.
14-2. This one, man. Come on, man. Yeah, on the Kool-Aid.
Wow.
Where's Cup?
That man on the Kool-Aid over there.
Craig, how you feeling over here?
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a backup for a reason. A career backup
Thank
for a
you.
reason.
Thank you. So you got 7 kids and 7 different seats.
Oh man, I don't think that Peyton Barber is going to get off. I just don't think Tampa Bay will be able to score enough because and plus Tampa Bay plays a lot of zone. The Eagles have a lot of short passes and everything like that.
Big game for Zach Ertz.
I'm going to go with the Eagles winning this game, unfortunately. And
I'm loving how y'all throwing that unfortunately out for these
I'm gonna
Super Bowl
go-
champion birds.
I'm going to go 31-10.
31-10. I like that score right there. I like that score. Bobby, we're going to start off with you for this next game 1 matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we know the Steelers are in a lot of turmoil right now about what is going on with Le'Veon Bell. The locker room is damn near divided. Some cats are like, hey, let that man do what he needs to do to get his money. Some cats are like, he needs to bring his ass in here. Kansas City Chiefs, as we spoke when we did our football preview, I got the Chiefs as being my sleeper team. I think the Chiefs and the Chiefs and the Jaguars are going to face each other in the NFC Championship game, with the Jaguars moving on to the Super Bowl here to play the Philadelphia Eagles. But we'll talk about that later on.
Yes, that's why they.
Bobby, we saw, as you mentioned, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, and I'm a big Andy Reid fan just because he gave my man Michael Vick a chance. I didn't like Andy Reid when he brought Donovan McNabb to the Eagles, but when he brought Michael Vick to the Eagles, I fell in love with Big Red. Long story short, Bobby V, the Chiefs are in terrible Tile City to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who you got in this matchup?
Mahomes, the new quarterback for Kansas City. I think they have a very high-powered offense. They have a lot of receivers, a good running back, as well as Andy Reid as a good coach. He knows how to put up a lot of points. I feel like Pittsburgh, they are in turmoil. Even though the new running back, I think his name's Connor, He's pretty good. But I feel like since the team is divided, they had that tie game last week. I'm going to roll with Kansas City. Like you said, they're a sleeper team. I like them to go to the playoffs.
What's the score? What you got the score as?
I think it'll be. Pittsburgh will put up maybe 21 points, and Kansas City will put up about 30, 32.
32-21. Craig, talk to me. How you feeling? Kansas City against Pittsburgh.
Well, Le'Veon's not playing, right?
Nope.
All right. Well, and they also just tied with the Browns, so I'm definitely not picking them to win.
Who's away?
Who that?
Who's home? Who's away?
Pittsburgh's home.
They're in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's home. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. They have a high-powered offense. The Steelers, they got a lot going on. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs winning this one. I'm gonna go 38. I'm gonna go 38-21.
I'm going with the Chiefs as well. I just need Tyreek Hill and Patrick.
Are you writing this down? So when
I'm writing win or loss down, but we'll have the picks recorded, so I'll get them to cast later. But I'm putting the teams down. Yeah, I'm writing the teams down. I'm going with Kansas City as well.
Because I'm coming in first place against all you guys.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I'm going with Kansas City on something big, like 42-35. I think it'll be another high scoring game right there. Lou, talk to me. How you feeling?
I think if Ben Roethlisberger could play better, I think Pittsburgh could win. But I really think Kansas City's going to win, even though I hate to say it. But I think they're going to win probably like 31-20, 24-31.
24-31. Jeff, how you feeling?
I already told you I feel by Andy Reid. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh in this one, 17-14.
Defense game.
Brandon, we going to end this game out with you. How you feeling?
You should write that down. You already know I'm picking. I'm not picking.
No Steelers
ever. So they could lose. They go 0-16 for all I care. I told you. 0-16. I don't want them to win nothing in life. So I won the Chiefs big. 38-17.
I'm going to stick with you for the next game. Next game, we got Minnesota heading to Green Bay to take on possibly Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Now, we don't know. It'll 9 times out of 10 be a game-time decision if we'll see DeShone Kizer or Aaron Rodgers. So you got to pick on your heart on this one. Who you going with?
Where they playing at?
They playing in Lambeau.
Oh, God. Can I get a pick-em choice? Like, if Aaron plays, the Packers win. If DeShone Kizer plays, just go home and just...
You gotta pick with your heart. No, you gotta.
So
you gotta act like
Aaron Rodgers said before he walked off the field that he's playing. So the bad man's playing.
So that means you're gonna
He
agree.
was also high as a kite when he said that.
He definitely was on. He definitely probably did get a shot
He was
too.
on the good drug.
He was on a good drug. So